We detected your battle with the Cravians. You protected our people when no one else would. We are here to help." Park smiled. "We appreciate the assistance, Captain Zhou. The word has spread through the sector," Zhou continued. "For too long, the Cravians have preyed on smaller worlds. No one has stood against them until now. Your actions have inspired many to join the fight." The screen split to show the Cravian commander again. He looked at the new arrivals with shock. "This is not over, humans," he said. "The Empire will crush this rebellion." "Not today," replied Park. "Today, you retreat." Faced with the disabled ships and the swarm of colony vessels, the Cravian fleet began to pull back. As they watched the Cravians retreat, Tejo stepped beside his captain. "What happens now?" Park looked at her damaged but still functioning ship, at her brave crew, and at the fleet of allies they had just gained. "Now," she said, "the real work begins. The Cravians won't stop. They'll be back with more ships, and we need to be ready." Dongho approached with a data pad. "Captain, I've been thinking. If we can adapt our systems to absorb and redirect their energy weapons, we can teach others to do the same," Park finished. Dongho nodded. "Exactly. The human advantage isn't just technology. It's our ability to adapt, to share, to work together." Park looked out at the stars, at the fleet of diverse ships now gathering around the Tenacity. In just a few days, everything had changed. Humans had gone from being ignored to becoming the center of resistance against a powerful empire. "Send a message to Earth," she told Subin. Tell them we've made some friends, and some enemies." 3 days had passed since the battle with the Cravian fleet. The Tenacity floated in space, surrounded by ships from a dozen different worlds. Captain Mina Park stood in the ship's largest meeting room, which was now filled with leaders from the colonies that had suffered under Cravian rule. "We need to strike now while they're weak," urged Captain Zhou, the four-armed commander who had led the colony ships to their aid. "My people lost everything to the Cravians," said Elder Mox, the blue-skinned leader from the colony they had helped. "Evacuate. We want justice." Captain Park listened carefully to each speaker. The room was tense with anger and hope. These people had lived in fear for years. Now, for the first time, they saw a chance to fight back. "I understand your desire to attack," Park said when everyone had spoken, "but we need to be smart about this. The Cravian Empire is vast. They have many more ships. But none that can stand against your technology," Zhou pointed out. "Your vessel disabled 5 of their warships." Park shook her head. "Our advantage won't last forever. They'll adapt just as we did." Dongho, who stood beside his captain, stepped forward. "We've been working with engineers from your worlds. We can share our modifications, help you upgrade your ships." A murmur of excitement passed through the room. "But that's not enough," Park continued. "We need more than weapons. We need information. We need to understand the Cravians better." "What do you suggest?" asked Elder Mox. Park's eyes were determined. "We captured communication data during the battle. We know they're planning something big, a gathering of their entire fleet at their main base. If we could get inside, learn their weaknesses." "You want to infiltrate the heart of the Cravian Empire?" Zhou sounded shocked. "That's suicide." "Not if they don't see us coming," Park replied. "They still think of humans as primitive. They won't expect us to reach their homeworld." The meeting continued for hours. Plans were made, arguments were had, but in the end, most agreed to follow Park's leadership. The Tenacity would lead a small team of ships to the Cravian homeworld, while the colony fleet prepared for the larger battle to come. 2 weeks later, the Tenacity approached Cravian space. It had been repaired as best as possible, though scars still showed on its hull. With it were 3 smaller vessels, each chosen for speed and stealth. "Approaching the outer sensor grid," reported Jun. "Ready to activate the cloaking field." This was Dongho's newest creation, adapted from studying the Cravian technology. It wouldn't make them invisible, but it would mask their energy signatures to look like simple space debris. "Activate cloak," ordered Park. "All ships, maintain radio. Silence from here on." The small fleet slipped past the outer defenses of the Cravian Empire. They moved slowly, taking days to approach the central planets without detection. Finally, they reached the Cravian homeworld, a massive planet surrounded by orbital stations and hundreds of warships. "Look at that," whispered Tejo as they observed the gathering fleet. "They're preparing for war." Park studied the displays. "They're planning to crush the colony rebellion before it grows, and they'll come for Earth next." "We can't fight that many ships," Kyung said grimly. "We don't have to," Park replied. "We just need to give them something else to worry about." Dongho approached with his datapad. "I've analyzed their command structure. Everything flows from the central station there." He pointed to a massive orbital platform. "It controls their entire fleet." "Can we disable it?" asked Park. Dongho nodded. "Better. We can reprogram it. Send false commands to their ships." "That's bold," said Park with a small smile. "I like it. How do we get aboard?" "We don't," Dongho explained. "We use their own communication network against them. Send a signal that looks like it's coming from their high command." Hours later, the plan was ready. The Tenacity moved into position, hidden behind one of the smaller moons. Dongho and his team had created a perfect replica of the Cravian command signal. "Ready, Captain," he reported. Park took a deep breath. "Send it." The signal went out, carrying commands to the entire Cravian fleet. Each ship received orders to power down weapons and engines for a critical system update. "It's working," reported Jun as they watched. "Ships are powering down all across the fleet." "Now for Phase 2, said Park. "Send the message to all colonies and our fleet." The second signal burst out, this one directed to the waiting ships of the Colony Alliance. It carried a simple message. Now. From hyperspace emerged hundreds of ships from the free colonies. They surrounded the powered-down Cravian fleet. "Signal, the Cravian High Command," ordered Park. "I want to speak with their leader directly." The face that appeared on screen was not Commander Vex, but an older Cravian with elaborate markings on his gray skin. "I am Supreme Leader Torque of the Cravian Empire," he said coldly. "Who dares to infiltrate our systems?" "I am Captain Mina Park of Earth," she replied. "The planet you designated as non-threat species before 721. As you can see, your assessment was incorrect." Torque's yellow eyes narrowed. "This trick will not save you. Our ships will recover and destroy your pathetic fleet." "They could," Park agreed, "but not before we destroy your command station and half your fleet. Is that a price you're willing to pay?" The Cravian leader was silent for a moment. "What do you want, human?" "Freedom for all colonies under Cravian control, an end to your raids and abductions, and recognition of Earth and its allies as sovereign powers not to be attacked or harassed." Torque made a harsh sound. "You demand too much." "These are not demands," Park said firmly. "These are the terms of your surrender." "The Empire does not surrender." "Then the Empire falls today," Park replied calmly. "You have 1 hour to decide. Freedom for the colonies or the end of Cravian dominance." The transmission ended. 58 minutes later, the response came. The Cravian Empire agreed to terms. 3 days later, representatives from 24 formerly oppressed species gathered on the Tenacity. Captain Park welcomed them to the conference room where a historic treaty would be signed. "I never thought I would see this day," said Elder Mox, his 4 eyes shining with emotion. "My people have lived under Cravian shadow for generations." "None of us expected this," agreed Captain Zalo, "until a small ship from an unknown world showed us that even the mightiest empire can be challenged." Park smiled. "We didn't do it alone. This victory belongs to all of us." As the representatives took their seats, Park stood at the head of the table. "Today we begin something new. Not just peace, but partnership. The galaxy is vast and full of wonders and dangers. We will face them better together than apart." She looked around at the diverse faces, each from a different world, different evolution, different history, yet all shared the same desire for freedom and dignity. "The Cravians made a critical mistake," Park said. "They saw our differences and thought them weaknesses. They catalogued us, dismissed us, and ignored us. Until it was too late. she gestured, to the treaty before them. Let this be a lesson that echoes across the stars. Never underestimate those you choose to ignore. You might find they have advantages you never imagined. Tejo's voice came over the comm. We're approaching the ship, ready for docking. Get them aboard quickly, ordered Park. Kyung, prepare for immediate departure. Captain, Jun called urgently. 5 Kravian vessels are moving to cut off the colonial transports. They're going after the evacuees. Park's face hardened. Change of plans, move to protect those transports. The tenacity surged forward, positioning itself between the fleeing colonial ships and the approaching Kravians. Open a channel to the transports, Park ordered. Tell them to continue on course vector 227. We'll cover their escape. The Kravian commander appeared on screen again. You test our patience, human. Your interference cannot be tolerated. And your attacks on innocent civilians cannot be allowed, Park responded. We stand with the innocent. The Kravian's face showed something, like surprise then anger. Commence full attack, he ordered his fleet. The tenacity shuddered as multiple energy beams struck it simultaneously. Shields failing, shouted Kyung. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Reroute emergency power to shields, ordered Park. Subin turned from her station. Captain Dongho reports he's ready. He says to brace for power fluctuations. Park nodded. Do it. Activate Dongho's system. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ship's lights dimmed completely. The tenacity seemed to go dead in space. All systems offline, reported Kyung. We're completely vulnerable. The Kravian ships continued to fire, but suddenly, something strange happened. The energy beams hitting the tenacity weren't causing damage anymore. Instead, they seemed to be absorbed into the hull. What's happening? Asked Park. Dongho's voice came through on the emergency channel. It's working, Captain. The modifications are absorbing their energy weapons. We're storing the power. The ship's systems began to come back online, but different somehow. The displays showed new configurations and energy signatures. The Kravians are hailing us, reported Subin. They sound confused. On screen, ordered Park. The Kravian commander appeared, his yellow eyes wide with shock. What are you doing? Our sensors indicate your vessel should be destroyed. Park smiled. It seems you've underestimated human ingenuity, Commander. Your classification of us was premature. Behind her, the colonial transports were moving away, escaping to safety. Captain, Dongho called from engineering. The system can't hold much. More energy. We need to release it soon. Options? Asked Park. We can vent it safely, or... He paused. We can redirect it back at them. Park looked at the view screen, at the Kravian commander who had dismissed humans as insignificant, who had attacked innocent civilians without hesitation. Tactical, target the lead Kravian vessel's weapon systems only, she ordered. Dongho, stand by to redirect the energy. The Kravian commander leaned forward. What are you doing, human? Crossing a line, Park replied. Just as you did. Dongho now. The tenacity glowed with stored energy. Then, in a brilliant flash, it released a powerful beam that struck the Kravian flagship precisely where its weapons were mounted. The Kravian ship's weapons exploded, leaving it crippled but intact. Target their remaining weapons, Park ordered, one by one. As the human vessel began methodically disabling the Kravian fleet's weapons, Park opened a channel to all ships. This is Captain Mina Park of Earth. You classified us as non-threat species the per year 4721. That was your mistake. Remember this day, and remember this. Humans protect the innocent. Humans stand against bullies, and humans should never be underestimated. The tenacity hummed with strange energy as it faced the Kravian fleet. The ship's hull glowed with a blue-white light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Captain Mina Park stood on her damaged bridge, watching as her small vessel held its ground against the massive alien warships. Status report, she ordered. Kyung checked his readings. Dongho's system is working. We've absorbed enough energy from their weapons to power our ship for months. And we can redirect it? Asked Park. Yes, Captain. We've already disabled the USO flagship's weapons. We can target others. The main screen showed the Cravian ships moving into new formations. They had stopped firing, confused by what was happening. They're scanning us again, reported June. I think they're trying to figure out what we did. Park smiled. Let them wonder. Subin turned from her station. Captain, the Cravian commander is hailing us. On screen, the alien commander appeared, his yellow eyes narrow with anger and confusion. What have you done to our weapons? This technology is unknown to us. It was unknown to us too until today. Park replied calmly. Your attacks forced us to adapt. Impossible. Your species is primitive. You were catalogued as non-threat. You might want to update that classification, Park suggested. The Cravian made a harsh sound and ended the transmission. They're moving. Their damaged flagship back, reported June. 3 other ships are taking position in front. Dongho's voice came over the comm. Captain, I've analyzed their energy weapons. Each ship has a unique signature. If we can record it, we can bypass their shields completely. Park leaned forward. Explain. Their shields are keyed to block outside energy, but they're designed to let their own weapons fire pass through. If we copy their exact signature, we can hit them where they're vulnerable, Park finished. Brilliant, Dongho. She turned to her tactical officer. Kyung, can we do this? Kyung nodded. The system is already recording their signatures. We have 5 different patterns stored. Good. Target the lead vessel's engines only. I don't want to destroy them if we don't have to. The Tenacity fired a concentrated beam of energy that perfectly matched the Cravian's own weapon signature. It passed through the alien ship's shields as if they weren't there and struck the engines. The Cravian vessel lurched to one side, trailing debris. Direct hit, reported Kyung. Their engines are disabled. Next target, ordered Park. One by one, the Tenacity disabled the engines of the Cravian ships that had moved to block them. Each time, the human vessel used the aliens' own energy signatures against them. Captain, called Jun excitedly, the colonial transports are clear. They've reached the jump point and are entering hyperspace. A cheer went up on the bridge. Park nodded with satisfaction. Mission accomplished. What now, Captain? Asked Kyung. We've disabled 5 of their ships, but there are still 20 more in the fleet. Park considered this. Open a channel to all Cravian vessels. When the channel was open, she spoke clearly and confidently. This is Captain Mina Park of the Earth. Vessel, Tenacity. As you can see, we've developed the ability to use your own weapons against you. We don't want to continue this fight. Stand down and we can talk peacefully. For a long moment, there was no response. Then the Cravian commander appeared on screen again. This is Commander Vex. You have damaged Imperial vessels. This is an act of war. Park shook her head. No, Commander. You fired first. We simply defended ourselves and protected innocent people from your aggression. Those resources belong to the Empire, Vex insisted. Those people are our property. People are not property, Park replied firmly. And we will continue to protect them. Vex's face showed cold anger. You have made an enemy today, human. The Empire will not forget this. The transmission ended. They're regrouping, reported Jun. The undamaged ships are forming an attack pattern. Park turned to Dongho, who had come to the bridge. How long can your system keep working? The modifications are holding, Captain, but they weren't designed for extended use, admitted Dongho. We've been lucky so far. Before Park could respond, Jun called out, New contacts. Many small ships appearing from hyperspace. Cravian reinforcements? Asked Park. Jun studied his readings. No, different designs. They're... Captain, I think they're ships from the colonies the Cravians have been attacking. Dozens of them. The main screen showed a swarm of small, diverse vessels appearing all around the area. They moved to surround the Cravian fleet. Subin's console lit up. We're being hailed by one of the new arrivals. On screen, ordered Park. A being with green skin and 4 arms appeared. This is Captain Zhou of the Free Colonies Defense Force. Jiho calculated quickly. 3 hours, 15 minutes at maximum speed. Park made her decision. Set course for the colony. Maximum speed. First Officer Taiho approached her. Captain, what are you planning? To warn them. Maybe help them evacuate before the Cravians arrive. The Cravians have ignored us so far, Taiho said carefully. But if we interfere... I know the risk, Park replied. But I can't just watch while they destroy another colony. The Tenacity raced ahead of the Cravian fleet. When they reached the colony, they found a small settlement of dome-shaped buildings on a rocky planet. Scans showed about 2,000 inhabitants. Open a channel to the colony, Park ordered. Subin worked at her console. Channel open. This is Captain Mina Park of the Earth vessel Tenacity. We've detected a hostile fleet heading toward your colony. You have less than 1 hour to evacuate. A response came quickly. A being with blue skin and 4 eyes appeared on screen. This is Elder Mox. We thank you for the warning, but we have nowhere to go. Our ships are few and small. Park looked at her crew, then back at the screen. We'll help you prepare your people to board their ships. We'll escort you to safety. The colony moved quickly. Small transport ships began launching from the surface. The Tenacity positioned itself in orbit, ready to guide them. Captain, called Jun from his sensor station. The Cravian fleet has increased speed. They'll be here in 15 minutes. The colony needs at least 30 minutes to complete evacuation, reported Hana. Park's face was grim. Then we need to slow the Cravians down. She turned to Taiho. Take a team and help coordinate the evacuation from the surface. I'm going to buy you some time. How? Asked Taiho. By introducing ourselves properly to the Cravian fleet. After Taiho left with the team to the surface, Park contacted engineering. Dongho, I need everything you can give me on engines and shields. Understood, Captain, came Dongho's reply. He hesitated, then added, There's something else I've been working on. It's not tested yet, but is it ready? Almost. I need another hour. Park shook her head. We don't have an hour. Do what you can in 15 minutes. The Tenacity moved away from the colony, on a direct course to intercept the approaching Cravian ships. As they grew closer, they could see the massive fleet on their screens. They're still not responding to our hails, reported Subin. Keep trying, ordered Park. And send this message. Cravian vessels, this is Captain Mina Park of Earth. The colony ahead is under our protection. Change your course immediately. There was no response, but sensors showed the Cravian ships were now scanning the Tenacity again. They've designated us as a potential obstacle, said Jun, but still classified as minimal threat. Park smiled tightly. Good. Let them underestimate us. The Tenacity positioned itself directly in the path of the Cravian fleet. The massive, alien ships continued forward, seemingly unconcerned by the small human vessel. They're not slowing down, reported Jun. Impact in 60 seconds. Park stood tall on her bridge. Broadcast on all frequencies. This is your final warning. We will defend the colony. Finally, a response came. A Cravian appeared on screen. Its skin was gray and scaly, with yellow eyes that seemed to glow. Human vessel, it said, its voice translated by the ship's computer. You are interfering in Cravian business. Your species has been classified as non-threat. Do not force us to change that classification. Park met the alien's gaze. We've seen what you do to colonies. We won't let you take these people. The Cravian made a sound that might have been laughter. Your primitive vessel cannot stand against even one of our scout ships. Move aside or be destroyed. The transmission ended. 30 seconds to impact. Reported Jun. Park took her seat. All hands brace for potential impact, shields at maximum. As the massive Cravian ships bore down on them, Park knew that Tenacity was about to change the course of human history. They had been ignored by the Cravians until now. That was about to change. Stand your ground, she ordered. Let's show them what humans are made of. The Cravian fleet loomed ahead of the Tenacity. Captain Mina Park gripped the arms of her command chair as the massive alien ships approached. Final warning from the Cravian commander, announced Subin. They say they will destroy us if we don't move. Evacuation status? Park asked. Jun checked his display. Taiho reports they need at least 15 more minutes to get everyone off the surface. Then we give them 15 minutes, Park said firmly. Hold position. The lead Cravian vessel fired a warning shot. The energy beam passed just meters from the Tenacity's hull. They're trying to scare us, Park observed. Weapons status? Our weapons would barely scratch their shields, reported Security Chief Kyung. Park nodded. We're not here to fight. We're here to delay. She opened a channel to engineering. Dongho, status report. The modifications are at 60%, Captain, came the engineer's reply. I need more time. We may not have it, Park said. Be ready for anything. The Cravian commander appeared on screen again. His yellow eyes narrowed as he spoke. Human Captain, this is your final opportunity. Our scans show your weapons are primitive. You cannot hope to survive. Park stood to face the screen. Our scans show your targets are innocent civilians. We cannot allow that. The Cravian made a dismissive gesture. Then you will be destroyed. The screen went black. Incoming, shouted Jun. 3 Cravian vessels fired simultaneously. The Tenacity shook violently as the energy blasts struck its shields. Shields at 60%, reported Kyung. One more hit like that and they'll fail. Park opened a channel to the colony. Taiho, we're taking fire. Status? 2 more transports to load, came Taiho's reply through static. We need 10 more minutes. You have 5, Park responded. We can't hold them any longer than that. She turned to her bridge crew. Evasive maneuvers. Make it hard for them to get a clean shot. The Tenacity began to move, weaving between the Cravian ships. It was like a small fish darting between sharks. The human vessel was faster and more agile than the larger Cravian ships, but there were many of them. They're surrounding us, warned June. The Cravians fired again. This time the Tenacity managed to dodge the worst of it, but one beam caught the ship's rear section. Shields at 40%, reported Kyung. Damage to decks 6 and 7. Casualties? Park asked. Minor injuries only. Emergency teams responding. Park nodded grimly. Continue evasive pattern. Dongho, I need that system online now. Working as fast as I can, Captain, came the strained reply. Another hit rocked the ship. The lights flickered. Shields at 20%, Kyung announced. Hull breach on deck 7, sealing now. Park opened a channel to Taiho. Time's up, are you clear? Final transport launching now, Taiho reported. We're on our way back to the ship. Good. We'll hold position until you're aboard, then get out of here. The view screen showed the last colonial transport rising from the surface, with the Tenacity's shuttle close behind. Just as they cleared the atmosphere, a massive Cravian vessel moved over the colony. They're targeting the colony infrastructure, reported Jun. Park watched as the Cravian ship fired on the empty domes below. Buildings collapsed and fires spread across the abandoned settlement. Barbarians, she whispered. I'll write part 1. First contact of your story in about 900 words using simple English and third-person style, with Korean names as requested. The human ship. Tenacity floated through the darkness of space. Its white hull gleamed against the black backdrop of stars. Captain Mina Park sat in her command chair looking at the main screen. Her short black hair was pulled back, and her uniform was neat and pressed. Any sign of other life out here? She asked. Nothing yet, Captain, said Chun, the sensor officer. His fingers moved quickly over the control panel. Wait, I'm picking up something now. The Tenacity had traveled farther than any human ship before. They had left Earth 3 years ago to explore beyond the known stars. The crew of 80 men and women were the best Earth had to offer. Captain Park stood up and walked closer to the screen. Show me. The screen changed to show a massive ship in the distance. It was at least 20 times larger than the Tenacity. Its hull was dark, gray with strange blue lights pulsing along its sides. "Is it alone?" she asked. "No, Captain," Jun replied. "I'm detecting more ships now, many more." His voice became quieter. "It's a fleet." Communications Officer Subin adjusted her headset. "Captain, I'm picking up transmissions between their vessels. The language is unlike anything in our database." "Captain?" Park turned to her science officer. "Hana, what do you make of this?" Science Officer Hana Kim studied her readings. Her eyes widened. "Captain, their technology is far beyond ours. Energy readings suggest their weapon systems could destroy us with a single shot." The bridge fell silent as this information sank in. "Should we retreat?" asked First Officer Tejo, his voice steady despite the tension. Captain Park shook her head. "No. We came to make contact with alien life. This is what we've been looking for." She turned to Subin. "Open a channel. Let's introduce ourselves." "Channel." "Open, Captain." Captain Park stood straight and spoke clearly. "This is Captain Mina Park of the Earth vessel Tenacity. We come in peace as explorers from the planet Earth. We wish to establish friendly contact." They waited. 10 seconds passed, then 20. A full minute went by with no response. "Try again," ordered Captain Park. Subin sent the message 3 more times. Still nothing. "They're receiving our transmission," Subin confirmed. "They're just not responding." "Perhaps they don't understand us," suggested Tejo. "Or they don't care to," said Hana quietly. Captain Park returned to her chair. "Move us closer but maintain a respectful distance. Continue broadcasting our greeting on all frequencies." The Tenacity slowly approached the alien fleet. Now they could see that it consisted of over 30 vessels of different sizes. The largest was shaped like a massive arrowhead and appeared to be the command ship. "Captain," called June suddenly, "we're being scanned." "What kind of scan?" asked Park. "Very powerful. It's reading everything, our hull composition, our energy systems, even our life signs." Hana looked up from her station. "They're collecting data on us, cataloging us." The scan lasted less than a minute, then stopped. Still no communication came from the alien vessels. "They're moving," reported Jun, "continuing on their previous course. They're ignoring us." Captain Park frowned. "Follow them. Keep a safe distance." For 3 days, the Tenacity followed the alien fleet. The aliens continued their activities without acknowledging the human vessel. They watched as smaller ships left the fleet and returned. They observed the aliens performing what looked like military exercises. In her private quarters, Captain Park recorded her log. Day 127 of our mission. We have made first contact with an advanced alien civilization. They appear to be a highly organized military society. Despite our attempts, they have not responded to our communications. It's as if we are too insignificant to merit their attention. A knock came at her door. "Enter," she called. Chief Engineer Dong Ho stepped in. "Captain, I've analyzed the data from their scans of our ship. They've classified us in their database. We've been labeled as non-threat species 4721. Captain Park raised an eyebrow. "They think we're harmless." "Yes," said Dong Ho. "And there's more. I've been able to partially decode some of their transmissions. They refer to themselves as the Kravian Empire. They control vast regions of space, and they've conquered many other species." Captain Park stood and walked to her viewport, looking out at the distant alien ships. "So we've encountered not just aliens, but an empire, one that conquers others." "It appears so," Dong Ho confirmed, "and they don't see us as worth their time." A small smile appeared on Captain Park's face. "That might be to our advantage, Dong Ho. They've underestimated us." The next day, the Tenacity observed as the alien fleet approached a small planetoid. The crew watched in horror as several Kravian ships bombarded a settlement on the surface. "There, were life forms down there?" Hana reported, her voice shaking. "A small colony. Now, nothing." Captain Park's hands tightened on the arms of her chair. So that's who we're dealing with. Captain, called Jun urgently. 3 Cravian vessels have broken formation. They're heading toward another system. I'm detecting a distress signal from that direction. Show me, ordered Park. The screen displayed a small transport ship fleeing from the Cravian vessels. The transport was damaged and moving slowly. Can we hear their distress call? Asked Park. Subin adjusted her controls. A desperate voice in Nisom, an alien language, filled the bridge. They're begging for help. Subin translated through the ship's computer. They say they're carrying refugees, civilians, families. Captain Park stood up. Her decision was already made. Set course to intercept, she ordered. Prepare all systems. Taiho moved to her side. Captain, they've ignored us so far. Perhaps we should. They've ignored us because they think we're harmless, said Park. Her eyes were fixed on the screen. It's time to show them they're wrong. The human vessel Tenacity followed the Cravian fleet from a distance. Captain Mina Park had ordered her crew to remain undetected while they learned more about these aliens who had classified humans as insignificant. Send the data to my station, Park ordered as she watched the main screen. For 2 weeks, the Tenacity had observed the Cravians. They had witnessed 3 separate attacks on small settlements. Each time, the pattern was the same. The Cravian ships would surround a colony, disable their defenses, and take people and resources. It's not random, said Science Officer Hana as she showed Captain Park her findings. They're targeting specific resources and specific types of beings. Captain Park studied the data. They're taking people as well as materials. Why? I don't know yet, Hana admitted. But I've analyzed the communications we've intercepted. They refer to the captives as processing units. Park's expression darkened. Keep working on it. I want to know what they're doing with those people. In engineering, Chief Engineer Dong-ho worked alone late into the night. He had been quiet lately, spending extra hours at his station. Tonight he had opened a panel beneath his console and was modifying the ship's power systems. The door slid open and his assistant Minho walked in. Sir, you missed dinner again. Dong-ho quickly closed the panel. Just doing some maintenance. Minho looked skeptical. That doesn't look like standard maintenance. After a moment, Dong-ho sighed. Close the door. When Minho had done so, Dong-ho reopened the panel. I'm reconfiguring our power grid. If we route energy through these modified conduits, we can absorb and store certain types of energy blasts. Like Cravian weapons fire? Minho asked, eyes widening. Exactly like that. Dong-ho connected 2 more circuits. Don't tell anyone yet. Not until I'm sure it will work. But the captain needs deniability until I know this won't blow up the ship. Dong-ho looked up at his assistant. Will you help me? Minho hesitated only a moment. What do you need me to do? On the bridge, Navigator Jiho reported, Captain, the Cravian fleet is changing course. They're heading toward the Vega sector. What's in that direction? Asked Park. Communications Officer Subin looked up from her station. I'm detecting transmissions from that sector. It appears to be a distress signal. Can you translate it? Subin worked for a moment. It's coming from a small colony on the 3rd planet. They're calling for help. Their sensors have detected the Cravian fleet approaching. Captain Park stood. How long until the Cravians reach them? At their current speed, 4 hours, Jiho reported. And how long would it take us to reach the colony first?